Good evening, all of you. So in day 8, we are going to discuss about Python decision making statements. So today it is day 9. So we'll go and discuss about in this day 9 about Python loop control statements. So in day 8, I already discussed about Python loop control statements, and I discussed the for and inside of the for loop control statements, I discuss about functions like range function and len functions. So just I will continue about Python loop control statements today. So without delay, we will go and start the session. So what is a Python loop control statements? What is a loop? So the programming language provide different types of loop control statements which are capable of repeating some specific code several number of times. So if you want to repetitively execute a block of statements, so number of times, so then you have to use loop control statements in a programming language. So it is a C program or C++, Python, Java, and so on. So this is an example for loop control statements in Python or other programming language. So condition. So if the condition is true, then it will going to execute the body of the loop, and if the condition is false, it will going to execute the or it will going to terminate the process. So that means if the condition is true, then this is going to executed repetitively. So the statement is going to executed. The body of the loop is going to executed repetitively until the condition will become as a false. So that is called as a loop control statements in programming. So what are the advantages of using a loop control statements in Python? So that is it provides the code reusability. So what is a code reusability? So you don't need to write the same code again and again. So you don't need to write the same code again and again. So in our programming, so instead of writing a same code again and again, you have to call that function whenever you want required. So that is called code reusability. And similarly, by using a loop control statements, you can traverse the elements. You can traverse the elements from index number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So these are the advantages of using a loop control statements. And this is about for loop. So the syntax of using a for loop in Python is for and followed by iterating variable and followed by in operator and followed by sequence. So that means whether the iterative variable is there in the given list or given sequence. So that is if it is true, then it will go and execute the statements. So it is a syntax for writing of a for in Python. So let us see the example. In this example, I want iterating the string using a for loop. So for that, I am writing here str is equal to Python. So then for I in str colon. So in this example, I is indicate that. So that is a first character. So first character in the given string. So that will be substituted here for p in str. So the p character will be there in the given string. So it is true. Then it will go and print the I. So what is I here? So I is a p. So then it will go and print a p character. And after that it will going to take the next value from the str. So then it will go and substitute in the place of I. That is a y. So for y in str. So the y character is in the given string. Yes, it is there. So then it will go and print y. And next similarly t. So t in str, yes, it is there in string. Then it will go and print t. And h. So h in str, yes, h will be there in the given string. So then it will go and print h. And o, and o will be there in the given string. It will go and print o. And n will be there in the given string. Then it will go and print n. So that means In this example, the string is going to printed iteratively. So second example, so list is equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on 10 elements, and n is equal to 5, and for I in list. So I is nothing but you have to take the numbers from the given list. So the first number is a 1. So for 1 in list, so it is true. So the one first element, first element will be there in the given list. So it is true. Then it will go and perform C is equal to n into I. So that is a 5 into 1. So that is equal to 5. And the next iteration, next it will go and take the 2 from the given list. Then it will go and substitute in the place of I for I value is 2. So for 2 in list, yes, the 2 is there in the given list. Then it will go and print 5 into 2. Then it will go and print C variable, that is 10. So like that it will go and take the last element, that is 10, and 10 in the given list, yes, it is there in the given list. Then it will go and perform C is equal to 5 into 10. Then I got the output is 50. And next one is sum of the given list of elements. So in this example, list is equal to 10, 30, 23, 43, 65 and 12. So initially sum is equal to 0, and for I in list colon. So for I in list colon, and sum is equal to sum plus I. So that means in the place of iterative variable, which will go and collect the data from the given list, that is a 10. So 10 in the given list, yes, it is there in the given list. Then it will go and perform sum is equal to sum plus I. So initially sum is equal to 0. Then it will go and print the sum is followed by variable name. So then I got the output is 183. So for executing of all these Python programs, you can use a Python terminal command based interface, or you have to use a Jupyter notebook, or you have to use PyCharm notebooks. And also without installing Python or Anaconda Navigator in our computers, there is a one software that is called Google Colab. So by using a Google Colab, it's not required to install the Anaconda Navigator. So just you can use a Google Colab, and by using that Google Colab, we'll going to execute the programs in cloud. So we're going to execute all these programs in the cloud, and whatever the program, so whatever the program we are going to execute it, so that all programs will be going to store into your Google Drive only. So if you want to enter into this Google Colab, first of all you need to install into the you need to enter into your Gmail account. So you can use your Gmail account, and so that whatever program you are going to return in this Google Colab, so that will be going to store into your Google Drive. So already I'm using like Python basics, and without number and numpy and all these. Otherwise you can go for click on a new notebook. So if you click on a new notebook, so then it will go to open one new notebook. So in this new notebook, so whatever the writing, whatever the program we are going to do, so that every program is going to store into our drive, Google Drive. So for example, I will go and execute so for example I will go and execute this code. So list is equal to 10 comma 30 comma 23 43 65 and 12. So list is equal to, these are the elements, and initially sum is equal to 0, and after that for I in list colon, and sum is equal to, and sum plus I, sum is equal sum plus I. So then I want to print the sum is, so I want to print the sum is, and followed by comma and sum. So if you want to execute this code, just you have to press it, you have to click here. So for first time, if you open this Google Colab, it will go and take some time for execution of the first program. If you execute the your Python program in our Google Colab, then it will go and take some time, and after that it will go and produce the output of the given example. So in this example, I will write like this, and we have to run once again. So now for the next time onwards, your code is going to execute it very fast. So only the first time it will go and take a time. After that it will going to execute it very fast. So in this example, I got the sum of 10, 30, 23, 43, 65 and 12 is 128, 183. So like that, without installing Python software or Anaconda Navigator, we have to use Google Colab for execution, for executing of your research work, or for executing of sample programs. Okay. Next one is range function. So what is a range function? So the range function is used to generate the sequence of numbers. So the range function is used to generate the sequence of numbers. So for example, if you pass the range of 10, then the range function which will go and generate the sequence of numbers from 0 to 9. For example, if we pass the range of 10, so here 10 indicates that which will go and generate the sequence of numbers from 0 to 9, and it is a syntax for writing of a range function. So range and followed by start comma stop comma step size. So that is a starting index, and end of the index, and followed by step count. So for example, for I in range of 10, then I want to print I value. So that means the range function which will going to produce the sequence of numbers from 0 to 9. So 0 to 9, and that will be going to printed with followed by space. So end is a parameter for providing a space between the numbers. So let us execute this code. In uh, Google Colab. So if you want take one more terminal, just you can click on a code, plus code, then it will go to open for writing of a code. So for I in range and followed by 10 colon, and print and followed by I comma, and end is equal to followed by space, single space. Now we have to execute this code. So this is the output. So we'll get the output from, or it will go and print the output 0 to 9 elements. So range of 10. So the range of 10 is nothing but which will go and take the sequence of numbers from 0 to 9. So next one is I want to print the table of for a given number. So for n is equal to int of input of enter the number. So input is a function, and int is a function. So whatever the number, then it will be accepted only in converted. It will be converted into integer type only. So for example, if it is not integer, then it will go and produce the output. It will go and produce the error. So let us see for I in range of 1 comma 11. So that means 1 is included, and 11 is excluded. So that means it will go and print the range from 1 to 10, and C is equal to n into I. So the n value, so in this example I read the n value from the keyboard is 10. So that will be 10 into I. So that means first element is 1. So 10 into 1, it will go and print 10. And the next iteration 1, I mean 2. So 10 into 2, so that is equal to 20. So if you want print 10 into 2 equal, then I'm writing here n comma, and I'm writing in star in a double quotes comma I comma and equal, and I'm writing in a double quotes comma followed by resultant value C. So then I got the output will be 10 into 1 is equal to followed by resultant value 10. So like that it will go and print up to the range from 1 to 10 elements. So then I got the output will be 10 into 10 is equal to 100. And this is an example for printing even numbers by using a step counter. So in this example, I'm reading n value from the keyboard, and for I in the range of 2 comma n comma 2. So in this example, 2 is a starting value, and n is whatever the n value you are going to read from the keyboard, that value will be substituted here and followed by 2. And in this example, 2 indicate that step counter. So it is a step count, or it is a or the loop is going to incremented by 2. So instead of incrementing by 1, which will go incremented by 2. So then I want print I. So then I got the output is uh, so 2, and here I'm taking n value is 20. So 2 comma 20. So that means 2 will be included, 2 will be included, and 20. So 20 will be excluded, and followed by step count is 2. So it will got incremented twice. So then I got the output will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and 18. And if it is a 20, so 20 is excluded. That's why it has not gone printed 20 here. So next one is a range function. So the range function, what is the range function here? So by using a range function, which will go to print a sequence of numbers. For printing a sequence of numbers, you have to use a range function. And similarly, inside of this range function, you have to use len function. So that means length function. Length function. For example, my list is equal to Peter, Joseph, Ricky, and Devansh, and it will be index number 0, and index number 1, and index number 2, and index number 3. So then it will go and find out the length of the given list. So length of the given list. So the length of the given list will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So that is the length of the given list is 3. So next it will go and substitute in the place of 3. So that means I'm going to apply here 3 here. So this entire thing will be 3. So that is for I in range of 3. So for I in range of 3. So range of 3 is nothing but which will go and take the numbers from 0 to 3. So range of 3 is nothing but which will go and print the numbers from 0 to 3. So then I got the output will be Peter. So hello comma followed by list of I. So the I value will be 0, then it will go and print Peter. I value will be 2, I value will be 1, it will go and print Joseph. I value will be 2, Ricky, and I value will be 3, Devansh. So like that it will go and print the range function. So based on the length function, length is which will go and calculate the length of a given list, and after that it will substitute in the range function. So next one is nested for loops in Python. So like as in C programming, you have to also use nested for loops in Python also. So that is for iterating variable in sequence colon. So it is the outer loop, and for iterating variable 2 in and followed by sequence colon. So it is the inner loop, and if both are satisfied, if the outer loop is satisfied or true, then it will go to enter into the inner block, and which will go to execute the block of statements. So like that like that the inner loop is going to execute it until the condition will become as a false. So whenever the condition is false, then again it will goes to the outer block, and which will go and take the next iteration variable from the given list. So like that it will go and execute the code. So for example, I have a variable adj is equal to red comma big comma tasty, and fruit equal to apple, banana and cherry, and for x in adj. So for x in adj, so that is red. So first I will take the red. So for x it contain, for x contain red color or red, and for y in fruits, so the y value will be called as a apple. So then I want print x comma y, I want print x and y values. So then I got the output will be red apple. So red apple. So then the y value will be goes to select the next value from in fruits. So then I got the output is red banana, red banana, and the inner loop is going to increment the next value, then it will going to choose cherry. So then I got the output is red cherry. So and there is no elements in the inner loop, then the outer block is going to incremented by 1. So that means now in this time I will take a big sequence, big character as a outer loop. So now it will go and take a big. So now the inner loop will be y. Again it will start with apple. So big apple, and big banana, and big cherry, and next iteration tasty, and tasty and followed by apple. Then I got the output is a tasty apple, tasty banana, tasty cherry. So like that the loop is going to repetitively execute at the inner block as well as the outer blocks. And this is another example for printing of tables of second table and third table. So in this example I am taking for I in range of 2 comma 4. So that means 2 will be included and 4 will be excluded. So that means the range will be from 2 and 3 only. So that means I want print the only second table and the third table, multiplication table. So then the next loop is for j in range of 1 comma 11. So that means 1 is included and 11 is excluded. So that means it will take the numbers from 1 to 10 only. So 1 to 10, and I want to print I comma. So what is I here? 2, and followed by star comma and j. What is the j here? 1 comma is equal to comma followed by I into j. So then I got the output will be 2 into the inner loop value is 1. 2 into 1 is equal to 2, and again it will be increment the inner loop. So 2 into 2, and inner loop is going to increment it by 1, that is a 3. 2 into 3, and so on. It will going to execute it up to 2 into 10 is equal to 20. So and after completion of this iteration, then it will goes to the outer block, and it will take the next iterative value, that is a 3, and again it will start with 1 onwards. So 3 into 1, 3 into 2, 3 into 3, and so on, 3 into 10, that is equal to 30. So like that the nested loop for loop is going to execute in the programming language. And this is another example here. So in this example I am using a break statement. So whenever I want to print the first value. So for example the range of outer loop is 2 comma 3 only, and 4 will be excluded, and for j in range of 1 comma 10. So that means the range value will be 1 comma 10, and 11 will be excluded if I is equal to j. If I is equal to j. So what is I value here? So that is a 2. So 2 is equal to, and followed by j. What is a j here? 1. So 2 is equal to 1. So it is not equal to 1. So then it will go to break. It will go to break the condition. Then it will go to print I comma star comma j comma equal to I into j. So then I got the output is 2 into 1 equal to 2. So next one, next it will go and increment the next value. So the inner loop is going to increment it. Now it is 2. So now if 2 I is equal to j, so the I value is 2 and j value will be incremented to, then 2 is equal to 2. So then it will terminate the case. It will terminate the condition. Then it will go. It is not going to print 2 into 2 value. So why? Because it will be terminated. And after that it will go and take the after that it will go and take the next iteration. So that is a 3, and 3 is equal to 1. So it is not equal to 1. So then it will goes to this loop, and it will go and print 3 into 1 is equal to 3, and inner loop is going to increment it by 1. 3 into 2, so 3 is equal to 2. It is not equal to I or j. Then it will goes to the this loop, this statement. It will go and print 3 into 2 equal to 6, and outer loop is 3, and now the inner loop will be also 3. So 3 is equal to 3. Then it will terminate the condition. So then I got the output is 2 into 1 equal to 2, and 3 into 1 equal to 3, and 3 into 2 equal to 6. So next one is you can use the else statement inside the for loop. You can use the else statement inside of the for loop, like as a C, C++, and other programming language. So uh, how we must notice that if the loop contain any of the break statements, so then the else will not be executed. For example, inside of the loop, it contain break statement. Then else block will not be executed. So in this example, I'm not going to use break statements. So that's why it will go and print range from 0 to 5. So that means 0 will be included and 5 will be excluded. So it will print 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 only, and print of I. Then I got it will print I value is 0, and next value is 1, and next value is 2, next value is 3, and next value is 4, and there is no other iterations other iterative variables in the for loop. So then it will goes to execute the else block. So after printing of after termination of this for loop, then it will go to execute the else block. For example, inside of the for loop, if I use a break statement, at the time the else block will not go to execute it. So let us see that example also. So for I in range of 0 comma 5 and print of I, now I am using a break statement. So whenever this loop is completed, whenever this loop is completed, then it will go to it cannot be going to executed else block. It cannot be going to executed else block. So it is a outer statements. So this statement cannot be comes into the inside of the else statements. So the else inside the statement is print, the for loop is exhausted. So whenever you have to use a break statement inside the loop control statements, at that time if you use else keyword, so that statement is not going to execute it. Is not going to execute it. So whereas in previous slide, I'm not going to use any break statement here. So that's why the else will be going to execute it successfully. For example, if you use or if the loop contain any break statement, then the else statement will not be executed. So in this example, the else cannot be going to execute it. So that is for loop is exhausted, that statement cannot be going to executed. I hope you'll be understanding what I am saying. And next one is the Python while loop. And the syntax of while condition is while and followed by expression or condition colon and followed by statements. So that means if the condition is true, then it will going to execute the statements. So repetitively execute the block of statements in the while condition. So that means in a while condition, so first it will go and check the condition. First it will go and check the condition. So after that, if the condition is true, then only it will be allows to execute the statements. So that's why the loop control statements is also known as a pre-tested loop control statements. And this is an example for while loop. So in this example, I am writing I is equal to 1 and while I less than 6 colon and print of I and increment the I value. So then I got the output will be 1 to 5 elements. So whenever the I value will be 6, at that time it will be going to false. The condition is false. So if the condition is false, then it is not going to enter into block of statements. So that's why I got the output is 1 to 5 only. And next one is continuous statements. You have to use continuous statements inside the while condition. So for example, I is equal to 0 and while I less than 6 and increment I value, and if I is equal to 3. So whenever the I value will be is equal to 3, so then it will continue to the next iteration without printing that I value, which will go and continue to next iteration. So that's why it will go and print the output is 1 will be printed and 2 will be printed, and whenever the value will be 3, so that value is equal to 3. So this condition is satisfied. If it is satisfied, it will continue to next iteration without printing I value. So that's why in this example or in this output, it does not print a 3. So after that it will print 4, 5, 6 and so on according to the condition. So next one is break statements. So it will be also use break statement inside the while condition. So that is I is equal to 1 while I less than 6 colon print of I, and if I is equal to 3, then I will be use a break statements. So that means that so whenever the I value will be reached to the 3 at that time, so this condition will be going to terminate. So it will going to terminate the condition. So that's why I got the output is 3. 1, 2, 3 only. It is not going to go for 4, 5, 6. So why? Because whenever the I value will be reached to the 3, it will going to terminate the condition. So that's why it has not going to take a 4th iteration, 5th iteration and a 6th iteration. And also can use else statements. So inside of the while condition, so instead of the while condition, you have to use else statements. For example, here in this loop control statements, if you are going to use any break statement, at that time this else cannot be going to executed. So in this example, I am not going to use any break statements. So that's why after completion of this iteration, it will go and execute the else statements. So that's why I got the output is after completion of iteration, so the else is going to execute it. So for example, if you use any break statements, so at the time it is not going to execute else block. So next one is pass statements. So what is a pass here? So pass is nothing but it is a simple empty loop. So for example, if you don't want to define a class, then you have to use a pass keyword. Or if you don't want to define a function, then you have to use a pass keyword. Or if you don't want to write a condition body of the loop, then you have to write a pass keyword. So in this example, I'm writing a letter in Python. So letter in Python, and a letter if letter is equal to h. So whenever the letter is equal to h character, then it will going to print. It is not going to print anything. It is not going to print anything. And after that, for example, if the letter is not equal to h, then it will go and print the remaining numbers. So remaining numbers. So this is a pass block. So whenever the letter is equal to h, I'm not going to define any body or any body of the condition here. So simply pass, and it is a pass block. Inside of this pass block, I'm writing this is a pass block, and the current letter is followed by h. So it will go and print the current letter is h. So like that, it will go and execute the pass statements inside of the conditions. So pass is nothing but empty loop. So next one is infinite while loop. So how will going to write the infinite while loop in Python? So in Python you have to use for writing of a while infinite loop control. You have to any non-zero value. So any non-zero value in while loop indicate always true. So any non-zero value indicate always true condition. So whereas 0 indicate that always false condition. So that means while 1, so 1 indicate that true, and 0 indicate that 0 will be indicate as a false. So any non-zero value in the true in the while loop indicates always true and true condition. So whereas 0 indicates that always false condition. So in this example, by using this while followed by 1, I will be print these statements infinite number of times. And next one is the do while. So actually in Python it doesn't have a do while loop control statements. In Python doesn't have a do while loop control statements like as a other programming language like C, C++ and Java, whereas in Python you don't have a do while loop control statements. But we have to write the program like as a do while loop control statements in Python. So by using a while condition. So by using a while condition, you are going to write the do while like I said do while loop control statements in other programming language. But whereas in Python, we don't have a loop control statements in Python. So that's all about loop control statements. So for loop, while loop, and do while. So do while you don't use in Python. So instead of using a do while, we're going to use uh, while only. So the while is going to acting as a like as a do while statements. So that's all about today class. In the next class, we'll go and discuss about catching. So catching expressions in the Python. And if you have any doubts, please post your query in the chat box. And you have to use this Google Colab, and whatever the program you are going to running in this Google Colab, so that will be going to store in your Google Drive only. So whenever you want, you can go to that Google Drive, you can use your code. So without installing a Python and without installing a Anaconda Navigator, you can use this Google Colab. Google Colab, it is a Jupyter Notebook. Google Colab Jupyter Notebook. So that's all about today class. And if you have any doubts, so please post your query in the chat box. So otherwise, you can leave the class. So and we'll go and meet